museum that's accredited by the American Alliance of Museums, the AAM, means that it has met the highest professional museum standards. The AAM has a rigorous and lengthy process that a museum must go through, which shows that the museum has written policies and procedures in place, and that it follows those procedures to properly care for artifacts, to provide an education for visitors through exhibits and programs, and that it maintains the highest standards of public service and accountability. The museum is responsible for preserving and exhibiting the history of the United States Marine Corps. Our collection staff properly care for our collections of artwork and artifacts to make sure that we maintain them in perpetuity.
We have very strict standards and procedures in place for every aspect of our collections management team. We make sure that all of our documentation is in order, the physical attributes of a collection is documented. We keep very intricate and detailed physical files and also all of the information in our database system to ensure that we have collected all the information possible. It also drives a lot of what we do for exhibits, curatorial research, and if we're loaning out objects to different museums or Marine Corps units. All of the initial documentation and all of the procedures that we have in place from the beginning of when we receive the artifact to where the artifact ends up it's a really important process for us to keep. And it's basically we're following all of the professional museum standards. Everything that comes into the collection is different, whether it be a medal or an aircraft or a sign. And we have to make sure we know how to physically pick up the artifact, how to store it properly. And our biggest thing is that we want to make sure that we're keeping these collections in perpetuity for the families that may come to visit, the exhibits that may come 30 years from now. We just want to make sure that those objects are safe and secure and they're not deteriorating so that future generations can really enjoy them and explore them.
Curators conduct research and develop interpretive exhibits which tell the stories of individual Marines, their dedication, commitment, accomplishments, and sacrifices.
So every donation that we have that comes to the museum is thoroughly researched before it even comes through our doors. We're telling the history of the Marine Corps through individual Marines themselves. And by doing that, we're telling the story with the artifacts. The artifacts tell the story of the Marine tells the story of the Marine Corps. We're obligating ourselves and future generations to take care of these artifacts. We are where Marines come to see their history. So the items that we bring in, they have to rise to that level of National Museum of the Marine Corps. And we do that through the research, through the photographs families supply, through the histories, the letters, everything that they give us to tell that whole story of a Marine.
Exhibit staff create memorable, emotional designs which bring these stories to life for our visitors.
In our galleries, in each of our historical galleries, we have what we refer to as our immersive spaces. Rather than relying on graphics to tell the story, we try to simulate as best we can an atmosphere for the areas that the Marines were fighting in. The idea behind that is we try to emphasize the emotion and a better understanding of what the Marines had to deal with. The problem could be with the text is you get a description, but the visitor doesn't quite understand the impact of that situation. But when they are standing in a space that is similar to a space the Marine would stand in, it creates a much more deeper level of understanding for the visitor. To help with that, we use some special effects like programmed lights, scents, sounds to emphasize and create a better sense of place for our visitors. So for us, we have found that this has been very effective for our visitors. It's helped enhance their learning, and it's helped kind of put us on the map as a destination for military museum enthusiasts.
Education staff provide programs in person and around the world through distance learning for students in kindergarten through 12th grade, families, veterans, and active duty Marines. Visitors to the National Museum of the Marine Corps can sense the dedication and care from our staff and volunteers. It comes through in everything that we do. We are tasked with telling the story of nearly 250 years of the United States Marine Corps and the many stories of individual Marines. That's a tremendous undertaking, and we take our responsibility seriously. Come visit us virtually at usmcmuseum.com, To learn about new exhibits and educational programs, experience our online exhibits, and plan your visit. Then come visit us in person and see what 6.7 million visitors have experienced, why so many return, and why the American Alliance of Museums determined that the National Museum of the Marine Corps has met the highest professional museum standards. We look forward to seeing you here soon.